Welcome back to JJ Speed Shop. We are back on the 64.5 Mustang and rebuilding that old 302 that was in a flood. This time we're going to port some cylinder heads. They're old D00E 351 302 heads. Let's get into it. So for starters, we got the 302 kind of back, the short block back built up. Here are those pistons that I had pressed on. They're in there. The cylinder walls are looking good. I honed them with a dingle ball and a stone hone with 400 grit just so those molly rings will set in here. We got a new Comp Cams camshaft in there. It's nothing crazy. It's 224 at 500 lift. Kind of like a B303 cam, but it's flat tappet instead of roller. We'll see if it does that. Hopefully it does. All right, I'm going to start this off with a disclaimer. I am not a professional head porter. Actually, this is the first time I've ever done it. But there's a lot of information on YouTube and David Vizard and books and all kinds of articles, and I know enough to make me dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and kind of clean up all these things. Like you can see in here, that little bump right there, I don't know if that'll actually do a whole hell of a lot in airflow, but we're going to take it out. And this is the gasket I'm going to use. These are the ones that came off of the Flowtech headers. They're down here. I figured I would just port match those to each other. The intake side, I don't think there's a whole lot to do. I've been looking at it. And here's the intake side. I mean, you could probably take a little bit off of the bottom, raise the roof of it just a little bit, so that way it has a better angle to go in there. I probably won't do a whole lot with it. These are kind of limited by your push rod holes right there, so I'm afraid to really hog out these at all. And there's a pinch point inside there. Also, really the main thing is I got to clean this thing up, but there's a pinch point inside there that some people say to take off. The other people say that's for like a Venturi effect. I'm just gonna kind of leave it alone. All I'm really gonna do is kind of clean it up a little bit. I'm not gonna polish it. I'm gonna leave it kind of rough, just kind of smooth out what I can find. And then inside the bowls I might do a little bit of bowl work, but on the actual combustion chamber I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot. I don't know enough to really mess with that side. There's a David Vizard video that's really good on it, but I'm kind of a chicken shit, so we're just going to leave those alone. Obviously, while the valves are out, I'm going to lap them back in. I'm just going to clean these heads up. First off, time to disassemble. Alright, so we got it all taken apart. All the valves are out, valve springs are off. Alright, if you look closely in here, there's a dip or a little extrusion in this bowl. I think I'm going to smooth that out, and it looks like they had put in hardened valve seats years ago, because this is before that time. And I'll just smooth this little ring up to the valve seat and maybe kind of work on the flow here, and maybe when I bring this out, sorry, let me get the camera back. Yeah, when I bring this out, I might smooth this up so that's a nice easy transition down in here. We're kind of more playing than anything. And then this side looks like I probably go out a little bit on both sides, just kind of smooth it out and bring this transition a little smoother, and maybe flatten this out a little bit. So okay, because this way the air goes out, so really got to watch this, smooth this out real good. Now on this side, the air is going to be flowing through it, so we just want to kind of smooth it around. I've seen some people take that valve guide support all the way out, and they say there's no problems. I don't know about that. That sounds like I shouldn't do that, but could be wrong. I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Maybe just smooth it up a little bit. Let's get to it. Okay, so here's what we got. This is on the intake side. This is the exhaust side. Really, I just kind of opened, come on, focus up. Really, I just kind of opened it up a little bit. I still got a lot of smoothing out to do. It's pretty rough cut in there, but this is about what I was doing. On the intake side, I just tried to make it as smooth as possible. And I forgot where I read that, but I was told to make this side kind of come over a little bit to induce kind of a swirling motion out. Pretty much about all I did with the bowls. I got to put the valves back in there, relap them in place. I've made sure not to touch any of the seats I just kind of made it a little bigger down here. I didn't go crazy on either one of these. Intake port side, really, we just kind of brought it out to the gasket. I still got some smoothing in there to do, but I wasn't going too crazy about making the walls, taking the walls in, because this right here is the push rod hole. This right here is the push rod hole. So what I did is I just kind of tried to bring it out, kind of fade it, so that way it's smooth and goes in there. I still got quite a bit of smoothing to do on the intake and the exhaust both. I did not lower the floor at all. I just kind of raised the roof just a smidgen. Now this is where we went a little crazy. So we did not lower the floor at all. We left that part of the port alone, but we hogged this side out pretty severely. It rained yesterday and just the moisture in the air is starting to give it some flash rust. I still got to smooth all this out, but I mean, if you can compare that to, this is your standard small block Ford gasket, the square. It's quite a bit bigger because I used the Flowtech, because that's what we have is Flowtech headers. I used that gasket, and I just kind of traced around the top, kind of making it more of an oval shape on the top, because if you look, I mean, you're looking straight at the valve, so I'm hoping it'll just, but I don't want to lose too much velocity. I don't really know. We'll see if this makes it to where it doesn't run at all. I think anything's better than it was on the factory. There was that big knob that's in the way. We took that out, kind of smoothed it out so the air has a nice straight passage out. Well, here it is, ready to go. They're all reassembled, valves are in, they're lapped, put together. These are stiffer valve springs. And here's the most important part of porting cast iron cylinder heads. When you're done, you just take it and you throw it in the trash and you buy aluminum ones. Well, that's it for this episode of JJ Speed Shop. I hope you learned something. Probably nothing at all in any way, shape, or form. Actually, the most important takeaway is if you have cast iron heads and you want to increase the performance, you can take them and you can port them as a good practice, but when you're done, just buy aluminum. It's better in pretty much in every single way. All right, AMF.